What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Magpie Channel TV. Welcome back to some more injury news. Hey, God almighty, honestly. I was on a rant, but you know it is. It's a Saturday. I can't be bothered. I'm not gonna lose my temper on this one. I'm just gonna say it how it is, and it's just absolutely diabolical. This crack. I was gonna say it's unbelievable, but it's not unbelievable. It's the most believable thing ever that an injury-prone striker is injured again at an injury crisis club. It's just never ending. We already seen that Louis Mailey got injured before we've even went into pre-season. Tino Livramento and Joe Willock still aren't even training with the squad. I mean, what's going on with Joe Willock? That's for later on. We'll focus on Wilson for now because he is the one that is injured yet again. Wilson has had a minor operation on his back, and that is going to rule him out, most likely, for the start of the new season. Eddie Howe said yesterday he's unsure whether Wilson will be fit for the start of the season in a month's time. He's even got a month after having months off and after being injured for months and months last year. He still isn't going to be ready for the new season. This bloke is beyond finished. He is beyond it. I mean, I love Wilson. Listen, I'll tell you what, right? The funny thing is, it's not funny at all, actually. The ironic thing is, I'm going to put in a clip now from yesterday's video that is less than 12 hours old. This is what I said yesterday on Callum Wilson. However, Eddie Howe has reiterated the fact that he wants to keep the striker at all costs. Doesn't want him to leave, wants to keep a hold of him, even though he's in his final year of his current contract. So we know Wilson, right, in his 30s now, brilliant striker, but also brilliant in the treatment room. Injured a lot of the time. We know he's missed over half of his games at Newcastle in the few years he's been here. So that is the clear and obvious concern. And the issue at hand, why we have been saying for a while now, to get another striker. We're massively paid for it last year. That was before we had this injury news today. It was already there. You just knew it was coming. And funny enough, in that clip as well, I mentioned about Calvert-Lewin coming in. An injury-prone striker to replace another injury-prone. I'd take Calvert-Lewin at this point. We may as well have bloody Joe Biden up front. Honestly, we'd have more luck with Joe Biden up front, an 81-year-old who can't speak. He'd be fitter than Callum Wilson, man. My God, the bloke, he's made of poppadoms, and I'm not talking nice ones with lovely dips, pickle trays, no. I'm talking, supermarket ones, budget buys, corner shop, 79p, crap. Honestly, I really like Wilson. He's a great finisher, but his injury record's just as great. It really is, as I've said in videos like yesterday and months and years gone by. I could repeat myself. Just type in Callum Wilson Magpie Channel. You'll probably see about 25 videos saying the same bloody thing. And I'm bored of it. And it's time for change. Time to sign a new striker, please. Please just sign a striker. As I said all along, you can't rely on Wilson. You can't even rely on him as a second choice striker, man. Will you be able to rely on him as a third choice? Can he play in an FA Cup 4th round away to West Ham? I don't know. Probably not. Can we play him anywhere, anytime? We can't play him in bloody pre-season. Yeah, he's out there in Germany, Adidas headquarters. Probably just doing laps, swimming, sitting in a jacuzzi. What's the point? If he got to Japan, all he'd be doing is eating sushi. What's the point? If he got to karaoke bars, he won't be on the training pitch. He's not going to play any of the games. Goodness me. May as well bring back Shearer at this point. Obafemi Martins. What's he doing? Honestly, this Callum Wilson. We should have sold him. I said it again. You can go back to the January transfer window videos. When Atletico Madrid came in with an offer, I was bewildered why we did not accept it and get rid of him. Should have sold him there and then. Should have been sold then. Any sort of profit, of any valuation, any currency. I'd take Bitcoin at this point for Callum Wilson. Yeah, I'd swap a bloody Pokemon card for Callum Wilson at this point. Shinies. Yeah, Charizard. What's going on? Because, how are you going to... People are saying, oh, well, this may just be a smokescreen. He may actually be on his way to going somewhere. I tell you what, Paul Mitchell deserves an immediate raise if he has managed to get him sold. Because anybody out there that is paying money for Wilson is berserk and needs investigated, like the Secret Service. Because this is dodgier than Trump shooting. Because if anyone's paying for Callum Wilson, they are off the head, off the ear, like Trump. Because there's no sense in it. There's no sense in it whatsoever, because he's just never going to be fit. And if we can get something for him, brilliant. See you later. Well done, Callum. He's been a great number 9 when fit, but we know he's missed half of his games at Newcastle across the few years. So I said in yesterday's video, if you can get, I would even take a Calvert-Lewin and have Calvert-Lewin and Wilson still there, second and third choice, that's fine. Because you'd hope one of them will bloody be fit enough to be on the bench now and again. But just scrap it all, man. We cannot have Isak on his shoulders every game, 90 minutes, running his arse off. We can it. If you want to get the best out of him in the modern, you can it. So we need just Jonathan David, young Canadian striker from Lille. Bring him in, problem solved. Brian Mbeumo, the right winger from Brentford, been crying out for him. Get him in, problem solved. He can play as a forward. He did that role very well when Ivan Toney was suspended for betting. Get him in, he can do it. Get them both in, matter of fact, and then we're sorted. Honestly, get them both in, problem solved. Enjoy yourself. Have a great season, yeah? And we can maybe hopefully be less worried and concerned about injuries over and over again. I said I wasn't going to lose it. I'm starting to lose it. Impossible not doing it. It's it. Injured again. Back injury. Hey, we haven't even kicked the ball. Wow. Mental. Anyways, on to some other news. Let me know what you would do with Callum Wilson. Drop some strikers in there as well. Some new forwards we should look to sign this window. Newcastle have announced a signing. That is the young defender on the screen right there. Welcome to the Toon. Youngin, obviously he's probably not going to be in the first team until the injury crisis hits and he'll be bloody centre-back captain within 4 months. So, can't wait to see that. Yeah, so welcome to the Toon for him. Promising young defender there. Good luck to him. We've announced him. Obviously, it's time to announce some more players. Let's get some first 11 players in ASAP, please. Newcastle, Mitchell and Eddie Howe. And that leads us on nicely to Eddie Howe. Yesterday, I did a live reaction. It wasn't live on YouTube, but it was my live reaction to the statement getting released when it did about Eddie Howe's exclusive interview with the Sky Sports. So you can check that out if you want. However, since then, Howe's did several interviews with several journalists and broadcasters, which is strange. You know, obviously, a press conference you'd think it would be, sit in a room, everyone gets the same answers. People are getting different answers. Well, people are getting some answers the same of Eddie Howe saying, you know, listen, I'm focused on Newcastle, I'm passionate about Newcastle, I want to stay at Newcastle. But the underlying worry, and the thing that people have been debating online, is Eddie Howe's power message that he's been sending out here. A warning that if it's not going his way, he's hitting the highway to St George's Park and joining England. But he constantly talked about the reshuffling of the club. There's been loads of changes. He's obviously referring to Amanda Staveley and Murdoch Goodisi leaving, two people that were very, very close to Eddie Howe. They appointed him. They were big advocates of him. They defended him to PIF when he was under pressure at certain times. They backed him to the hill and they would die for him. They really rated him and wouldn't have anything else. This could be different next season. I think Eddie Howe knows that. Say if he had a bad spell of 10, 15 games, would the patience be there still with Mitchell, with Bunce, with Eels, and most importantly, the decision makers, the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia, Yasser Al-Ramian, our chairman? Would he decide enough is enough and get a replacement in? Already rumours are circulating that Pochettino could be lined up to replace Eddie Howe if he went to England, because Mitchell obviously worked with Pochettino at Spurs, so they've got a good relationship. Pochettino is perfect fit for these young players and the style of football we play. That's what a lot of people are saying. I obviously want Eddie Howe to stay. I think Eddie Howe will stay, but this was a real prominent message that he put out there to the ownership, to the fans, to everyone, that he has to be happy and things have to work for him to stay here, because he needs to see what's taking place. Because Eddie Howe didn't have any idea that Mitchell was coming in. That was PIF, Yasser Al-Ramian's decision. He was appointed. He wasn't talked about it, Eddie Howe. He wasn't given his opinion on it. It was put in there. And to be fair, he has to get to grips with how modern football clubs work. If Eddie Howe leaves Newcastle United, not for England, but for any decent top-flight club, any club in the top 6, top 8 of the Premier League, they all have sporting directors, performance directors, all these people in places. So he would always have to work under their regime, basically. But Eddie Howe is now getting the power taken away from him in the sense of signing and selling players. Because this is already a bit of a barrier here, and this could already be a bit of the issue at hand with Wilson. Just the other day, Eddie Howe reiterated the fact of how much he loves Wilson, wants Wilson to stay. Maybe Mitchell is looking at this and going, no, mate, have you seen his injury record? Time to get 10 million from whoever can and get someone else in. Eddie Howe, loyal to players, loves Wilson from the Bournemouth days, trusts him. That could backfire for both parties. You know, if Eddie Howe wants him to stay and he's sold, vice versa, and it happens. So that's obviously an interesting dilemma right there. But the difference is the power shift. So Mitchell's been brought in for recruitment purposes mainly. Obviously, we know he's got loads of other stuff going on. You mentioned his NUFC interview. He's looking after the women's now, the academy, all that sort of stuff, developing players. But he is in charge of transfers. Eddie Howe even said in the interview yesterday, he's got a great record of transfers. He's a great appointment. But he wants to make sure that he still has a say in things. He still has the final say, like he did under Amanda and Murdad. I'm not sure that's the case anymore, Eddie. And now he's seeking reassurances. He's seeking what's going to be happening going forward. And that could throw a spanner in the works. And that still slightly leaves the door open for England to approach. And who knows what will happen, to be honest. You know, Eddie Howe did underliningly say, you know, he's got unwavering attention, support for the Newcastle job. Focus on that. He said England doesn't matter. But there's obviously murmurs there. There's obviously things in the background that he's not happy about, that he's not keen on, that he's worrying about, that he's wondering about, that he's debating in his head. And he's thinking, I'm not sure if this is right for me going forward. I'm not sure if this is going to work. Is that going to disrupt things? There's loads of stuff for them to work out, and that's what they should be doing right now over in Germany at the Adidas headquarters. Having means sorting things out. So it's surprising that Eddie Howe came at this interview that all the journalists have said yesterday was uncomfortable, awkward. Felt like a bit of a rant from Eddie Howe. It felt like a bit of a Rafa Benitez type vibe where he's spitting the dummy out in a sense, or having a bit of a go. So, you know, it's a really interesting one, and it is one that's up in the air because the Sky Sports one yesterday, it was like all kind of positive-ish. But then the other ones that have came out from his interviews with, Daily Mail, BBC and stuff like that, and a lot of the journalists, you can look on Twitter, all the journalists that have been there, invited the media in the Germany camp there at Adidas, they were all saying the same thing. Oh, that was different. We've never seen Eddie Howe like that before. He seemed a bit angry, a bit unsettled. So there's a bit of doubt there, really. There is a bit of doubt there, but listen, I think you hope that they iron things out, and you hope that Eddie Howe stays as Newcastle United manager next season. But I tell you what, we're in for a mad old summer because we've got Hull next weekend, then Tokyo. Then the season will be here before you know it. The Stella Cup, the new kits, the new signings. We're still waiting on bringing players in. There's loads and loads happening at Newcastle United over the next month. Less than a month now until that first game at home to Southampton. So for all your content here, daily news videos, everything else, breaking news, transfers, smash that subscribe button. Give this video a like, drop your thoughts in the comments below, and enjoy yourself.